I've been getting a lot of requests to rank the Grudge franchise, so here we are, time to rank all four movies. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good one today. I'm the Movie Ranker, and today I'm ranking all four Grudge movies from worst to best. Of course, I'm just talking about the American versions here. I will someday get to all the Japanese films. The same thing with The Ring. I only did the American versions of those films as well. And after that video came out, I got a ton of comments saying, do the Grudge, do the Grudge. So here we are. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of this franchise or this subgenre of like supernatural hauntings and stuff like that. So don't hate me too bad with this ranking. It's just my opinion, but I love to hear yours down in the comment section. We'll make a great discussion comparing. And yeah, let's jump right into this. So kicking things off in last place at number 4, I had to go with The Grudge from 2020. Always heard bad things about this film, never checked it out personally until now. I was forced to, and yeah, definitely a bad movie. Kind of a reboot, kind of a requel. It kind of takes place after the original film and during the other sequels. And it's just such a messy storyline, guys. We follow multiple timelines at once, like we're jumping from 2004 to 2006 to 2005. And the shitty thing about that is, not only does it make things all convoluted and messy, but the characters in the past, are going to be dead in the future because one of these timelines is taking place in the present. And we know all these people already died, so it's just like, it's hard to get attached to them when you know they're going to die, and none of them are real developed. It pretty much just falls around these group of people that are getting affected by the curse. So you're just watching how the curse affects them. There's not much more to it than that. And yeah, the only timeline that's kind of interesting is the present, because you don't really know the girl's fate, the detective or whatever. But even that timeline is not great or anything. The ghost, we don't get Kayoko or like the iconic classic ghost from this franchise. We get new spirits, which makes sense. I mean, this curse can take many shapes and forms, right? Depending on who got murdered and all this. So yeah, it makes sense that we would get different apparitions and spirits. The problem is this ghost or spirit or whatever is just so generic most of the time. Most of the ones we see in here. And there's no atmosphere, nothing. They don't creep in slowly to scare you. No, it's just like, bam, jump scare. It's very modernized in that sense. And there's multiple moments where like the ghost just like shows up, like because of an edit. They added them in post edit, right? And there's like, bam, the ghost is there, then disappears, then it's there. And it's just like, it's so cheap. It's not scary one bit. The story is not good. There's no real good characters in here. So the movie doesn't have a lot to desire. I mean, it doesn't help that, like I said, this is not my subgenre of horror, but this just feels generic as hell. Coming up next, at number 3, I went with The Grudge 3. This one was straight to video, and you can really tell we don't get much of a budget this time around. And yeah, it takes place basically at this apartment buildings. It picks up after the last movie, which is nice. That's one positive I can give it, continuing the story. And they end up killing off our surviving character, the kid, right at the start here, which seems to be something this franchise is used to. We take a survivor from the last movie and kill them off at the starting of the next. I really don't like that. And it's just so inconsistent, the rules of this world. Like sometimes the spirits can be picked up on cameras and stuff and footage. Sometimes they can't. Sometimes other people can see them. Sometimes other people can't see them. It just gets real confusing, and it just makes for bad writing when they can just kind of do whatever they want depending on the scene. And much like the 2020 release, this one lacks atmosphere, lacks tension. We do get the classic spirits in this one, Kayako and her son. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But obviously different actors playing them this time around, and the makeup just wasn't as good. There's times where he just looks like he's covered in baby powder or something, or like painted white with a paintbrush. Like, yeah, the makeup effects are pretty bad in this one. And like I said, it's just not scary when they show up most times. A lot of times the scenes are way too bright, and the way they're shot, and the lighting is just too much. Other times the editing's real bad, where we get like fast cuts and everything. So yeah, a very cheaply made movie. All the characters are here basically just to watch them get cursed. You don't really get attached to any of them. We do get one new character in here, which is Kayako's sister. She randomly shows up when we didn't even know about her in the first two movies. And she tries to say there's a way to break this curse by getting the little kid in the movie to drink Kayako's blood, her sister's blood. It's like, for one thing, where did you get her blood? She's been dead for a while now. Just doesn't make any sense. And it's like, they proved in part 2 that there's no way to break this curse. And yeah, to me, it's just pretty dumb. And it was boring, pointless type movie. I'd say only watch this if you're a hardcore fan of this franchise. If not, just skip it. Coming up next at number 2, I went with The Grudge 2. Now, I never watched this movie before. I've seen the original back when it came out, but it's been like 20 some years. And rewatching all these films, the first act, or the first like half hour of this, I'm like, wow, this is really good. This might be better than the original. They bring back Karen, Sarah Michelle Gellar's character. She's in the hospital after events of the first movie, and her sister goes to meet her. Love this little storyline, but then they kill off Karen, Sarah Michelle Gellar's character, and the movie slowly starts to fall apart after that, I feel, because I was really interested in that story with her sister and everything. And we also got 2 other stories going at the exact same time. Kind of has the same problem as the 2020 film with the timeline and jumping around in that, but it's a little less messy this time around. But I just really wish we would have focused on one less story or so, or maybe just one main story, because we got 3 and we're kind of jumping back and forth, and every time I get invested into one, we jump to another one and we don't come back to that one for a while, and this kind of sucks. And as they play out, they're not as satisfying as they should be in their conclusion in that. So yeah, the stories are always pretty messy in these films, if I'm going to be honest. Even the original has its problems, but we'll get to that. We also learn about the spirit's mother, Kayako's mother, and how she was able to take evil spirits away from people and feed her daughter with them, like to get rid of them. Kind of an odd storyline, and they think that's attached to the curse and everything. Once the sister of Karen goes to visit her mother to find out if they could stop the curse, her mother's like, no, I may have fed her evil souls and stuff when she was a kid, but that has nothing to do with this curse. The curse is from her getting murdered in a rage-filled way by her husband and everything. I'm like, yeah, I know. We know that from the first movie. So it just feels like a big waste of time going to meet her mom and everything for her to tell the audience what we already knew, and them adding in this stupid subplot with the kid getting fed evil souls and stuff, to me was just dumb, and it didn't really tie into the story in a neat way. As for the spirits themselves, the ghosts in here, I think it's done basically on the same level as the first one. We do get good atmosphere, good scenes of tension. A few scenes are even done a little bit better than the first movie, in my opinion. Some pretty good scares in here, so I gotta hand it to them for that. And I gotta laugh the way that this movie ends, where there's like this big reveal where this girl like lifts her hood, and it's like, oh, that's one of the main characters in the story from earlier. It's like, is that supposed to be like a crazy twist or something? Was it supposed to make me go, oh my god? Because that's kind of the way it's set up, but it just falls flat, and you're like, okay, it's her. It's that student girl, and it's just, I don't know, I thought it was kind of a very unsatisfying ending, especially just the way it plays out. It's like as if it's going to be crazier than what it is, and you're just like, well, that kind of sucked. But I do like how this movie shows you how much further the curse can affect people, how it can travel if people travel with the curse. All that is great, that added mythology. But for me, coming in the first place in this ranking is The Grudge from 2004, I believe. The American remake of the Japanese film. I still need to watch the original Japanese film, which I will do within the next week or so. I want to get on that. Maybe I'll do a double watch with The Ring, the Japanese version of that. That'd be fun. But yeah, this is a decent American remake. I think it does really good with its atmosphere and its tension. Like I was saying, when the spirits show up, it's pretty creepy. Especially when I watched this back when it came out. I was like 13. I was just the perfect age for that. But over the years and watching Scary Movie 4 over the years, I find there's a lot of scenes when the spirits show up that I can't stop thinking of the parody version, right? The Scary Movie version. And it kind of takes away from the tension and the terror that used to be there. And I just can't help but laugh. It does feel a little cheesy, a little silly when they interact with the spirits. But it is done the best out of this franchise. I'll give them that. Out of these American films, it is handled pretty well, the scares. And I think Kayako and her son just has a great look to them with the white and everything. How she like croaks, pretty creepy. And, you know, and the kid making the cat noises. It's pretty interesting spirits here. It's not something we've really seen before. But yeah, it's unique. It's original. And I like that because this is, like I said, I don't like ghost movies, but at least this one does something different. And the whole curse revolved around them and how the husband, you know, went on a rampage and killed his family and the cat. All that is super cool. I love the source. I love the concept. It's just the execution could have been done better. Like I said, the stories in these films are always messy. Part 3 is the most straightforward, but it's boring. This one, it also kind of jumps around the place. We follow Bill Pullman's character, and he dies right at the first of this movie, and then we get to see scenes of him throughout. It's kind of showing flashback scenes, and it just kind of takes you out of the film a little bit, going from the present to the flashbacks and everything. I much rather it be a more straightforward story, personally, because I don't think they pulled it off all that well, in my opinion. The storyline anyway. And it's like I said, just the rules to this film. I feel like they just make up whatever. Even in this original film, sometimes the spirits kill people off right away when they're cursed. Sometimes they screw with them for a bit. Sometimes they just kind of put them in shock for a bit. And it's just so inconsistent. It's like, yeah, everybody that goes in the house seems to be cursed, but that's the only thing that's consistent. Everything else, it just kind of happens at random. And again, that's just a sign of bad writing, when you can just do whatever you need to get away from the scenario in that scene instead of sticking to certain rules, right? And yeah, that was one problem I had with this film as well. But for the most part, this is a decent watch. I think it passes when we're talking about the scares and the horror elements. The storytelling could have been a bit better. The characters are decent enough, but again, probably could have been a bit stronger. And another thing that's weird is where Karen shows up near the end when she goes to burn down the house with the gas or whatever, and then the spirit shows them how they died. It's like, why are you showing her this? Is there a reason for it? Because you don't show anybody else. Like, I found it weird that it showed her how they died in like a weird ghost flashback thing in the house. It's just very odd. And it happens again in part 2 for her sister. And yeah, I was just like, that's kind of weird. There's some weird writing in here, I'll give you that. But again, this is just not my thing. So if you love this movie, that's perfectly fine. It's easier for me to pick these movies apart just because it's not my subgenre of horror, right? But I think the original is the only one worth watching, and perhaps the Japanese films, but I have yet to get to them. But the rest of the films in this American version of this franchise are all pretty bad, in my opinion. If you're a hardcore fan, check out 2 and 3, but I'd say even skip the 2020 version, even if you're a fan, because it just screws so much. It screws up so much, and it's just not scary. So to me, this original film easily comes in the first place. So there you have it, guys. There's my ranking of all 4 American Grudge movies. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, my list is not the right list. It's just my opinion, but I'd love to hear yours down in the comment section. Do you actually enjoy all these movies, or are you like me and not a fan of this franchise at all? And I'm a big fan of The Ring, so I love curse movies. It's just that this one plays out more like your average haunted house ghost type movie, with of course that curse twist, which is my favorite part about it. But for the most part, this franchise is just not for me, guys. So you can follow me on Letterboxd and Instagram if you're interested. Links to those are always in the description of my video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, thanks for watching.